Well, Ban Ki-moon has called on the UN to reduce the number of military observers in Syria and to instead focus on political efforts to end the violence. Well, for more on this, the BBC's Barbara Plett joins us live from New York. And Barbara, by changing the focus of the mission rather than withdrawing it, what message is the UN sending?
I think Ban Ki-moon's concern, and probably also many on the Security Council, is they don't want to send a message to the Syrians that they are abandoning the project, that they are admitting it's hopeless to try to achieve a ceasefire and get a political solution. But at the same time, they have a UN observer mission there that can't do its job. It's supposed to monitor a ceasefire that doesn't exist, and its mandate expires in 2 weeks. So what should they do about it? So what Ban Ki-moon has done is he's sort of come up with a compromise. He says, let's keep the mandate as it is, but let's shift the focus away from military observing and more towards the political tasks of the mission, so that the political officers would continue to keep up their contacts with both sides, try to create a channel of dialogue, try to promote a ceasefire, create the environment for a ceasefire. These are all kinds of things that they might be able to do in the straitened circumstances. And then in the meantime, you would still have military observers there. They would still try to do what limited tasks they could, but you would reduce the numbers, keeping open the option of upscaling it if the circumstances changed. So that's his compromise, his way of acknowledging that the mission is in trouble because the circumstances are very difficult, but not wanting to pull the UN out completely, a way of trying to keep the UN on the ground.
And Barbara, the Friends of Syria meeting in Paris agreed on the need for a stronger UN Security Council resolution. How likely is that without China and Russia's agreement?
Well, it would be impossible without China's and Russia's agreement, because they're veto-holding members of the Security Council, and they would have to agree if there was going to be any sanctions imposed on Bashar al-Assad's regime. I think there will be an effort at some point in the next week or two to come up with such a resolution calling for sanctions on the regime. But that would mean that there will be some quite intense discussions and debates around it, because we haven't seen any sign from the Chinese, and particularly not from the Russians, that they have changed their position, which is to oppose any sort of outside intervention in the situation. Their approach all along has been to try to facilitate Kofi Annan's plan to get the two sides together to talk and come up with their own solution. Now, that plan isn't working, but the Russians still haven't moved towards saying that the solution should be outside intervention.
OK, Barbara Plett from New York, thank you very much.